Does everyone take a deep inhalation? And just feel the impress of the Spirit of the Living One. The divine presence that is everywhere in its fullness. We always begin with a recognition that we are living, moving, and having our beingness in the power and the presence and the love of God Almighty, God all beauty, God all joy, God all intelligence. It's not merely that this presence is in all of its creation. All of its creation is in the presence of God. The presence of God is infinite, always, always, always being itself. And our real identity is one of pure awareness. And whenever there is an insight or a revelation that occurs, which is why you are here in this sacred center, then there's an expansion of our awareness in this field of infinite God consciousness. So we're always seeking to become more and never less than our true self, a greater expression of the infinite presence that is always expressing, but however it wants to express through and as you, through and as us, as a community. Our theme of the month is your prime directive, which is an indication that our prime directive is having no other God before the one God. Having an awareness that we are here to wake up to our divinity as our primary priority, and not allowing any other lesser gods to come into the frame as our priority. Materialism, lesser gods, fame, lesser gods, things of the external world that we project our happiness onto. But ultimately, we embrace that we are emanations of the whole Spirit of the living God, and that the happiness and the joy and the creativity and the abundance that we sometimes seek from the external world is emanating from us. We are glowing and imprinting everything with what is intrinsic within us. And as we pray, as we meditate, as we enter into the life visioning process, as we enter into sacred service, as we enter into high and holy fellowship, we glean the awareness that everything we're searching for is within us in our consciousness. And as that becomes active, we begin to fulfill the promise that we made to ourselves before we took the incarnation, and that is to be a great outlet for the Spirit of the living one that is seeking to know itself and express itself by means of us. However, there is what is called the fear of the miracle, which is our topic of today. And the fear of the miracle means that, first of all, a miracle is an instant, immediate, rapid demonstration of truth. It's a rapid demonstration of what's always here, but it immediately begins to take over our life. And there's a part of us that fears that because of the radical change it means that we're going to have to go through. We're going to have to give up the embracing of our comfort zones. We're going to have to give up the embracing of the unknown, which carries so many goodies in our life. We're going to have to embrace the fact that our structures of our life are going to change radically. We're going to have to embrace that our relationships, and any relationship that has served our limitation, relationships that want us to be always what we used to be, are going to have to yield to the great possibilities that lie within us. And the ego wants to protect us from this great movement of the miraculous, because that is the ego's job, to protect the is, to protect the personality construct as it is right now. And so we are afraid of miracles because it means radical change, great shift, great transformation. It means that we're finally going to have to give up our disbelief in that which we can't see. And oftentimes, because the sensorium, the five senses, have been trained to navigate through the world of time and space, height and depth, it's been trained to move through the artifacts of the previously held beliefs, points of view, perceptions that have condensed itself into the world as we see it. And we're learning to use our five senses to navigate through that, Well, when a miracle happens, when we suddenly see what we couldn't see before, we realize that that was child's play. That all the ways that we have navigated in the world of effects and circumstances and situations and thought it was so important, beyond that, there is a meta field of love and beauty and intelligence and abundance that's begging us to recognize it, to absolutely come into the activity or the make active of our inner senses so that we're living more from the unseen than we are from the seen. Oh, the ego hates that, does not want that. And so we have an unconscious fear of the miraculous. When we begin to yield that, through that, begin to surrender to this something more than what we can see. Remember the old statement that I used to say many, many years ago, that when you believe more in what you don't see than in what you do see, then what you do see you won't see, and what you don't see you will see? Remember that statement? When you had the feeling tone and the dynamic feeling of a believing and the feeling of what you can't see, more than what you do see, then what you can't see with the sensorium, you will see. And what you do see, you won't see. You live in another dynamic space. But it will be the tearing down of the strongholds of limitation, of seeing only with the sensorium. And all that limits you will begin to fall away. And that is frightening to the ego. And so at some point, you have to ask yourself, what beliefs am I holding on to that's blocking my miracle? What perceptions am I holding on to that's blocking my miracle? What limited point of view that I'm holding on to about myself, about other people, about the world that's blocking the miraculous? And then we'll come to an awareness that a miracle is not a random event. It is the outpicturing of that which always is now coming through us because of our willingness. Along the way of the miraculous, we will finally come to terms that we have to forgive everything, every single thing. And the moment we forgive everything and it becomes a matter of our spiritual practice, that is the only time that you'll be a sovereign being. You cannot be sovereign without forgiveness, because there will be a filament. You'll be covering up the filament of light within you with some kind of resentment, some kind of animosity, some kind of I'm right and they're wrong. And in that moment, you are not sovereign. You are imprisoned by your unforgiveness. And so along the way of the miraculous taking over, there will be a total inside-out frequency that happens to us. And all that limits us, all that wants to hold us to who we used to be. You know, there are people in the world that when they see you, they see your past. There are people in the world, when they see you, oh, I remember them from 20 years ago. Didn't they used to say this, or didn't they used to do that? You will be free from those Klingons. You'll be free from all of those people that want to hold you to who you used to be and what you used to say and what you used to do, because you won't be there. That will be the skin shed by the snake. That will be the chrysalis falling off of you. And you will look at that chrysalis, you will look at the skin and say, oh, that's what I used to be, but that's not who I am. You are to live in a continual state of transformation. And as that becomes your way, that when you pray, you are not praying for God to change anything. You're not praying for God to change God, because God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. You are changing to, not to change God's mind, but you are changing to come into alignment with the mind of God. You are changing yourself. So when you hear in substance, have the mind in you that was in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God, you're putting on the armor of the great presence that is everywhere and allowing it to be active within you. Oh my God. And then you hear the statement, if you shall save your life, you'll lose it. But if you lose your little life for my sake, you'll have life eternal. If you try to hold on and be everything that you always were and protect protect it and defend it, you'll lose it. But if you lose that sense of littleness for the sake of the eternal, for the sake of the Buddha within you, for the sake of the Christ within you, for the sake of the power and the presence and love of God within you, you'll find life eternal, even in this dimension. Remember, there used to be an old religious doctrine. It's dying now. Thank God it's dying. There used to be an old religious doctrine that said, as you were here on earth, if you were good, you might go to heaven. And if you were bad, you might go to a hot place called hell. You remember that old religion? I think it still bumbles around somewhere, but it's kind of dying. But we know now that we're speaking about dying to our limitations, dying to our limited point of view, dying to our littleness, so that the realm of ever-expanding good, which is at hand now, gets to be revealed itself on earth. That is your prime directive, to wake up to your glorious nature. And be aware that you've arrived here on planet Earth at this time in human history where great changes are taking place, where so much is happening. I'm sure if you've studied history, you're keenly aware that every 250 years, an empire doesn't last longer than 250 years if, in fact, it's built upon exploitation, if it's built upon the gap between the rich and the poor. None of them have lasted beyond 250 years. We're in 246 right now. So right now, we're at the end of a whole epic. We gap between the rich and the poor. Exploitation built up the wealth of this country. So you're at the end of something, not something new. Something old is dying. And you who have arrived here at this particular time in human history that are awakening to your glory and nature, the whole newness will be built upon your consciousness. The new, which we're segueing into, will be built upon the consciousness of sovereign beings, built upon the consciousness of lovers of God, lovers of all humanity, regardless of sexual orientation, color of skin, ethnicity, where an individual was born, what culture they are in. The new will be born upon those who are awake to the glorious nature within their own soul and who are open to the miraculous, a radical change in consciousness, a newness that we can't see with our eyes, but we can feel it with our soul. I'm telling you, you are more powerful than you think you are. Do not give in to the news. Do not give in to media. Give in to the holy broadcast of the Spirit that says, let there be light, let there be love, let there be beauty, let there be life. And then be willing to radically shift your awareness. Do not cling to whatever opinion you have right now. It's going to change. Do not cling to your limited perception. Do not cling to your rightness. Cling to the prime directive. We are here for God. Cling to the prime directive. I have no other gods before the one God. The great presence that is everywhere. The great love, let it live through me. Let it sing through me. Let it dance through me. Let it give through me. Let it live through me. Let it be me. If you say that sincerely, then your life is going to change. Your ego will be afraid of the change because somewhere in there, there's some unforgiveness, and somewhere in there you want to be right. But you'd rather be real than right. Okay? And so if you are sincere in that surrender, in that forgiveness, that release, the structures of your life that are supporting your limitation will dissolve. And you'll be a free, sovereign being. And you will only align yourself with that which is eternally true and that which is real. And the moral decay, it's called relative morality. There's there used to be, old theology. I was listening to Dr. King recently, and he was sharing this wonderful statement that there's those in the theological realm that believe if you're good, you're going to go to a place called heaven, and those that believe if you're bad, you're going to a place called hell. And so you do right because you want to go to heaven and have good karma, or you don't do wrong because you don't want to go to hell and have bad karma, but there's something higher than that. You do right only because it's right. You love because you want to love. You give because you want to give, not for brownie points, not I'm getting good karma, not because I'm going to heaven, because it's right to be right. It's great to be a lover. It's great to be a giver. It's great to forgive. It feels good to love. It feels good to honor beauty. It feels good to do what's right even when nobody's looking. We are rising up as individuals who love God with all of our heart, might, and soul. Not a guy in the sky, but a presence that is never an absence, becoming more real to us than anything, so that we're seeing with our inner eye the invisible. Woo! Hearing with our inner ear the inaudible. And then we can walk hand in hand with our ancestors, hand in hand with the angelic realm, hand in hand with those who've passed over, with an awareness that they're still alive and unfolding, and all of us together will be singing the song Celestial. Where I am, God is. All that I am is God. And I'm here to bring it to earth through my thought, my speech, and my actions. Just touch the back of your spine right here and just say, I am. I am the presence of God. Just touch right here under the belly. Was it the belly button right here, this particular chakra, and say, I feel creative. Touch right up in here and say, I act with power. Touch the heart and say, I feel loved. I feel love. Touch the throat chakra and say, I speak good into existence. Touch the third eye and say, I see that which is real. Touch the head chakra and say, I know God is real. I know God is everywhere. I know my life is the life of God. And so you have all your chakras spinning in the right direction. You have affirmed from each of them, and you're standing in your prime directive. Let me see who I am. Open my eyes that I may see who I am. Right now, my relationship is not with anyone else. Right in this second, your relationship with God Almighty. Just feel that right now. This is going to impact all of your relations. You don't start with the relative first, or relatives. You start with the absolute first. My at-one-ment is with the presence. Feel that. And I am willing for anything to change in my life, that this presence may reveal itself as my life. Then this cascades into all of our relations. We are bringing the eternal in all of our relations, and then our structures will become unstable and then stabilize around our prime directive. When you see me, you see the presence of God that sent me. As he said, I and my Father and Mother God are one. Woo! God bless. God bless us all. We're needed right now. End of an epic, beginning of something new. You will be the vitalizing newness upon which a new civilization will be built. As Albert Schweitzer was once asked when spending a long period of time in Africa, finally coming out, and they said to him, what is it like to be in civilization? He said, it's good, we should try it sometime. As he came back into the Western world with all of its mechanisms and materialism, he said, yeah, we should try civilization sometime. We are birthing a new civilization based on our consciousness and our oneness with the presence that's never an absence. All forgiveness leading us to being sovereign. For real, not just ideology, but spiritually. Ooh, I think that's it for today. Ooh. In breath right here. Release. In breath. Release. In breath. Sustain at the apex. Do not let the air out yet. And in this moment of recalibrating our nervous system, inside of your own awareness, surrender to the presence as your prime directive. Feel that you are supported and loved, needed. Feel that. Release with a sigh of ah. In breath. Feel you are important to the whole unfoldment. Oh, feel it. Feel it. Release. In breath. Feel that all of your needs are met. I know it's difficult at times. Feel that you're being supported right now. I know it's difficult at times. But you are participating in your own unfolding now. You have to feel it anyway. Feel it. Release. So with the awareness of our energetic patterns vibrating in the right direction, I exist. I am creative. I act with power and dignity. I feel the love. I speak it into existence. I see it. I know it. We rise up together in the consciousness of dynamic prayer. Not wispy, not anemic, but a prayer that is built into the awareness of what I really, really, really want is not what I should be, but what I am meant to be. My heart's desire, my soul's desire, that which is in me already. Ooh, my prime directive is, I want that to unfold beyond my little egoic desires. I want my soul's desire to unfold right now. And so we turn within, and with a great burst of gratitude, just say, I'm grateful. Even when it's hard. I'm grateful. We stand in this vibration of gratitude. And if it's difficult, just find any little thing that you could be grateful for. There's been a lot of calamity here in the LA area. So much loss, physically, even death. We don't deny the grieving. We don't deny the seeming loss. But we're allowing ourselves to allow all of that to be in the context that we're living, moving, and having our beingness in a presence that is taking care of our soul, nurturing us back to health, letting us see at times as a way where there appears to be no way emotionally, mentally, physically, financially. There's something untouched, and we're coming in tune with that, and we're lifting up, and we're lifting others up. We hear the quantum statement as I am lifted up. I draw all unto me. As a community, we're lifting ourselves up right now, and we're drawing all who are in need of this frequency. It begins with gratitude. I'm so grateful I'm alive. I'm grateful that I can be in service. We're just so grateful. And something begins to happen. In the feeling tone of gratitude, our perceptual windows become cleaner and clearer, and we're able to recognize, oh my God, there is a presence. There is a presence of love. There is a presence of beauty and peace. When it appears, no, it's not there, but it is. It's there. It's the little piece of grass growing through the cement. It's there. We look for it. God is here. Love is here. Peace is here. Support is here. That's God. And we feel the recognition factor is becoming magnified and multiplied. What we're looking for, we're looking with. What we're looking for, we find. Oh, we find something to be grateful for, and we feel in this moment Since the presence of God is everywhere, it must be where we are one with God, one with the presence. Now, from this consciousness of oneness, the very word that I am speaking is the word of God. The divine intelligence that governs everything is exuding through this community right now. I speak it for each and every one of us, that we may be free right now. That every organ, action, function of our body temple may be every whit whole. Our mental body may be clear. Our emotional body may be pure. The body of our affairs may reflect the fundamental harmony of the cosmos. For the universe is up to one thing, and that is to produce an individual that perfectly reflects the cosmos consciously. And that would be here. Okay. That would be us. That would be now. All needs met. Divine and compelling right action. Release yourself to that which is trying to be born. Let go of that which doesn't serve you anymore. Thoughts, opinions, points of view, let it go. There's a miracle trying to happen. Don't be afraid of the change. Let it go. Let it go. Let it all go. Whew. We give thanks for this. And what's most important here is not merely the words. What's most important is the feeling tone. Feel support. Feel your need is met. Feel the love that's surrounding you. Feel the peace that's emanating from your heart. Feel it. Help them feel it for a moment. Help them feel it for a moment.
If it's magic, then why can't it be everlasting? Like the sun that always shines, like the poet's endless rhyme, like the galaxies in time. If it's pleasing, then why can't it be never leaving? Like the day that never fails, like on seashores there are shells, like the time that always tells. It holds the key to every heart throughout the universe. It fills you up without a bite and quenches every thirst. So, if it's special, then with it, why aren't we as careful? Making sure we dress in style, posing pictures with a smile, keeping danger from a child. It holds the key to every heart throughout the universe. It fills you up without a bite and quenches every thirst. So if it's magic, why can't we make it everlasting? Like the lifetime of the sun, it will leave no heart undone. There's enough for everyone.
Feel that last phrase? There is enough for everyone. There is enough for everyone. There is enough for everyone. We feel that vibrational frequency. It's called abundance. As the Bhagavad Gita reminds us, you can take abundance from abundance, but abundance still remains. There is enough for everyone. So from this feeling tone of abundance and unity, the word is spoken for each and every one of us for our divine liberation and freedom and sovereignty. The word is spoken for these beings that are on our prayer list today.